is the Creative Church Show. Tips, tricks, and shortcuts making church media easy for you and your team. All in under 10 minutes each week.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Creative Church Show. My name is Josh from joshblankenship.me. I am excited to be back with you for episode number 42. In today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about Twitter. Twitter is one of the hardest social networks to kind of begin to get engagement on. It's actually one of my favorite social networks. And once you start getting that engagement, once you start getting people to share, once you start maximizing your reach on Twitter, it becomes a very valuable tool, and it can be very essential for your church communication strategy. So what I want to do today is I want to give you 10 stats that will help you maximize your church's reach on Twitter. Now, some of these stats are simply just going to help you understand how Twitter works, how to get better engagement when you're posting to Twitter. So Twitter is also one of the ones that is very hard to get started on. So I would encourage you, if you are just starting to use Twitter, to be patient. It takes time. It takes effort to get engagement on Twitter. So I think it's worth it in the end if you put in the time and the energy. So I would just encourage you, if your church is getting ready to launch on Twitter, or you've been on Twitter and haven't had much success, hopefully some of these stats and things you can do on Twitter will help grow your engagement. So the first one that I want to talk about is to get visual. Now, there's a stat out there that says tweets with images get anywhere from about 100 to 150% more retweets. They get about 89 to 95% more favorites. And if you're posting an image with a link, if it's got an image associated with the link, it's about 18% more clicks on it than when you tweet without a picture. So the number one way to get more engagement for your church Twitter account is to get visual and to post images on a regular basis. The second thing you can do is hashtags. Now, hashtags have been kind of on my nerves recently. I've started to notice, especially on Twitter, that the hashtag is sort of becoming an uncool thing. But I would like to say that hashtags are good if used correctly. If you can learn to use 2 or 3 hashtags effectively, you will see results from those hashtags on Twitter. Tweets with more than one hashtag, so I always recommend using 2 hashtags, are about 55% more likely to be retweeted. So use the hashtag wisely. It's a very valuable tool, but don't get crazy with your hashtags. Use hashtags that people will actually find. Don't create your own all the time. Maybe create one that's associated with your church and then go from there. Use hashtags that are relevant to your area, because that's who you're targeting on Twitter anyways, is the people around your actual physical locations. So use those hashtags. The third way is to get video-centric on Twitter. Now, tweets with videos get retweeted about 30% more often than tweets with just images. So Twitter video is a great way to shoot out little quick videos. Maybe you've got an announcement. Maybe you've got something going on at your church. Shoot that quick video. You can do it with your phone. You can do it right from inside the Twitter app. That's a great way to connect with people and to get your message out there more often. Number 4 is to use quotes. People, for whatever reason, they love quotes. Famous quotes, not so famous quotes. There are websites out there now that are dedicated to just quotes that you can find for various things. But tweets with quotation marks, so whether it's a quote you found from Abe Lincoln or it's a quote from your pastor, using those quotation marks, you are 30% more likely to get retweeted. So those quotation marks are an excellent way to get more engagement on your Twitter page. Number 5 is an interesting one, and it is just to be excited. Now, I know that there are a lot of grammar Nazis out there. I'm not great with grammar, so I will readily admit that. And I've had thousands of emails over the past 2 or 3 years from my blog, etc., letting me know about grammatical errors. I'm not opposed to that. I don't hate you if you do that. I'm just not that great with grammar no matter how hard I try. But number 5 is to be excited. And what I mean by being excited is that tweets with exclamation points get more retweets per follower than those without. So I don't think it's a great idea to add 10 exclamation marks. But I do think showing that excitement, showing that level of excitement, makes your followers feel excited for you. So use it with caution. Don't go crazy with it. But it's been proven that exclamation marks get more tweets when you add them into an exciting post. Number 6 is to use numbers. Now, numbers, I don't mean just throwing in random numbers. I mean giving stats or talking about maybe how many people got baptized at your church or how many people got saved at your church one week. Using the actual number, don't write out the number, but use the number. Tweets with numbers or percentages get 17% more retweets. Now that's pretty cool. 17% is quite a bit more just for using a number. For whatever reason, it breaks up the monotony of the text. People like to see numbers. So as part of your Twitter strategy, you should be incorporating numbers that are relevant to what you're doing at your church. Number 7 is to say the right things. Now, there are 5 words on Twitter that get retweeted more than any other word. So you should learn to incorporate a few of these into your tweets. Use them, don't just randomly use them, but make them fit into what you're doing. And here are the 5 most retweeted words. Number 1 is Twitter. Number 2 is you. Number 3 is please. Number 4 is retweet. And number 5 is post. So as you can see, asking people to share your content is actually a very successful tool on Twitter to make sure that people are sharing and retweeting your thing. So use these, what I would call magic words, in your tweets selectively. Don't get crazy and put one in every single tweet. But using these words can really help grow your engagement. Number 8 is length does matter. Tweets between the lengths of 71 and 100 characters get the most number of retweets. Now, I know that there are rumors, and I'm not sure if Twitter's actually started yet as I'm recording this, to allow people to expand the number of characters. But as of right now, if you have a tweet between 71 and 100 characters, you are going to get the highest number of retweets. So use that to your advantage. I think it goes to show that people like a very concise and to-the-point tweet. So use that to your church's advantage. The length between 71 and 100 characters is going to make a difference. Number 9 is use link shorteners. Tweets containing links that are shortened are about 10% more likely to be retweeted. So nobody wants to see a big, long, drawn-out link. They like to see concise, short links. So you can use Bitly, you can use Buffer, any of those type of things to create the shortened link. So if you're sharing a link to one of your website pages, make sure you shorten that link. And the final one I want to talk about is timing is everything that matters. So number 10 is all about timing. It takes about 24 minutes to receive half of all your retweets. So once you have posted something to Twitter, you have about 24 minutes before that tweet essentially becomes useless. So almost all of the time, you have 24 minutes. At 24 minutes is the pinnacle of that tweet's engagement. So what that tells me is don't be afraid to post things over and over again, because 25 minutes, that's not a very big window for people to see what you're doing. So use that to your advantage. Understand that every 25 minutes, your tweet has basically gone away essentially from people's timelines. So those are the 10 things, guys, that you can do on Twitter to start seeing more engagement on your Twitter page. They're just some interesting stats that we've seen over the last few years on Twitter that can really help you hone in and see exactly what engagement works on Twitter. So I hope that helps. I'd love to talk more on joshblankenship.me. Make sure you stop over, check out the show notes, leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you more about what's working for you guys on Twitter. I hope to see you back next time for episode 43. If I don't see you, have a happy 4th of July. Go America.